This is the OTB Television Network, a service of Capital District Off-Track Betting.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Handicappers Report. Alongside Jeff Carl, I am Anthony Mormino on this wintry February 7th as the 3-year-old and the older horse campaign probably turns it up a notch or two over the next couple of weeks. Remember a couple of weeks ago I talked about how the Stroop Stakes in real terms went away. I know they still called it the Stroop, but it was really the San Fernando, which they dropped at a mile and a 16th. And we're going to see this Saturday the amalgamation of the San Antonio and the Stroop Stakes run together as the San Antonio. So that's this weekend. Of course, the 3-year-olds get lined up a big day out at Santa Anita on Saturday, and they'll have the Bob Lewis Stakes, the old, I believe that's the old Santa Catalina Stakes. So away they go.
Yeah, Midnight Hawk running the Bob Lewis. I'm very interested to see him run again. Very dynamic son of Midnight Lou, trained by Bob Baffert. I watched his work the other day on my iPhone. Somebody put it on their Twitter feed. Nice moving horse, big, good-sized horse, in the right hands. So I'm interested to see if he can take another step forward tomorrow on the Bob Lewis.
I think you saw, was it Candy Boy, who at 26-1 could only be runner-up, taking on winners the first time. I think I saw him at 2-1 on the morning line down inside, going out for John Sadler. So that's underway. It looks like Will Take Charge will commence his handicap season in the Don Handicap for Wayne Lucas. So we'll see if he picks it up where he left off. As I said, you probably could have gotten a good chunk of change on the eve of the Preakness Stakes that the Travers Pennsylvania Derby winner would be the 3-year-old champion, not the usual route taken, but a rather up and down 3-year-old crop this past season. This year, though, I have to say, as a guy who has really knocked from East Coast to West Coast, the 3-year-olds over the last 5 or 6 years, one of which they made a movie about, go figure. I don't know who's going to come out of February, but if they can all come out of February with their feet intact, it seems like this could be a nice group of 3-year-olds.
Yeah, and Revolutionary is going to be facing Will Take Charge tomorrow. He didn't scare away a lot of rivals. He's got a 13-horse field, so it's going to make a great betting race. Revolutionary was a nice comeback allowance winner several weeks ago at Gulfstream Park. So it's going to be very interesting. Those two are going to hook up again, along with many others, actually. So, like I said, he Will Take Charge didn't scare many away, but that's good for the bettors.
I mean, as I said in 2004 with the 3-year-old fillies, I think some years it should be left vacant. I mean, he was borderline a little bit better than that, but what's to scare you away? I mean, just the best. He got on a little bit of a roll, I would say, late in the year, but yeah, we'll see. He's a slow starter. We'll see how he does coming out of the Wayne Lucas barn. I don't know.
Well, the track might not be in his favor tomorrow also. I mean, as we know, Gulfstream tends to favor speed. It looked pretty speed favoring yesterday. Munning Sisters did some blistering fractions, and the Austin Feather was able to hold on. So nice performance there. Several of those horses scratched out to face Groupie Doll this weekend. So that's another interesting race. Groupie Doll, they wanted to get a win in her before they sent her to the breeding shed. I don't know if it really matters as far as her value is, but it's good to see her run one more time, I guess.
I mean, if they're planning on selling the offspring of Groupie Doll, which you presume they are, which is why they paid the 7 figures for her, I'm pretty sure her resume is set.
Yeah, with $3.1 million. I don't think this is necessary, but we hopefully she goes out on a winning note.
Yeah.
Nothing but the best for Groupie Doll. Anthony, we got 10 races at Gulfstream Park today. You ready to get going? As far as we know, they're on the turf. They were on the turf yesterday. I don't think they had any inclement weather.
They did in Southern California. They lost the last race yesterday, and I didn't know if it was really necessary. The jockeys didn't want to come down the hill on the turf course yesterday. It wasn't a Chamber of Commerce day yesterday, but just lost the last race yesterday, and I was thinking that, sometimes when they have turf racing out at Santa Anita, because of the hill, they'll start some races on the backstretch, whether they're mile and a quarter or mile and a half races, especially the stakes races, which the mile and a quarter San Marcos is this Saturday also. But going down the hill 6.5, they don't have a comparable distance. So I really thought it was really about this slickness coming down the hill yesterday. They did get some rain. You saw the last race of the day. How can I put this? A denotation you rarely see in Southern California. Wet fast. It is so rare that it's ever wet fast in Southern California. Remember, only Santa Anita has conventional dirt, and they rarely get a wet fast racetrack. It's either clear and fast or sloppy. But yesterday, one race, wet fast.
Who sang that song in the 70s? It never rains in Southern California.
Albert Hammond.
There you go. I knew you'd come up with it.
Absolutely. It never rains in Southern California.
Except for yesterday.
A little bit, but
All right.
in January and February is the time of year it rains. That's why I always said the November meet at Hollywood Park, I've seen it muddy. I never saw it muddy the spring-summer meet at Hollywood Park, ever. I never saw it not very sunny. I mean, just a remarkable pattern once you get to about April 1st in Southern California.
Well, why don't we start taking a look at today's 10-race Gulfstream Park card. The opener is 6 furlongs. It is a claiming event for 4 and up, which have never won 3 races or have not won a race since August 7th. Claiming price is $6,250.
And this is the type of race that if you read the Andy Beyer column the other day, we'd probably have 2 or 3 more horses in here if Calder wasn't running concurrently. But 9 is nice to kick it off. 2, 5, and 3. Saltwater Cowboy, Edgar Prado, ladies and gentlemen, who showed a nice sneaky move, sending up on the inside yesterday afternoon. Now, this horse was off for almost 15, 16 months, and this is the 3rd start off of that layoff, and that's where I like to be. A nice little comeback race, a regression, and now perhaps a move forward coming out of the powerful Eddie Pleasa Jr. barn. For second, number 5, Bristol Dancer. We've been talking about Dylan Davis and his success over the last couple months moving into newer and better barns. Well, this runner just got beat at 3-10 most recently. Now, that was in a dated claimer also for $5,000. Now is 6-1 on the board for a horse who is 2 for 4 lifetime at Gulfstream Park. For third, number 3, On With The Show. Ricky Griffith sends out this runner after a very, very good dirt debut at Gulfstream Park, shipping down from Woodbine. Fatigued at the end, that was the early pace. That was going a mile. Now shortens up to 6. Not so sure that the pace will be any stronger than it was going a mile. 2, 5, and 3 in the opener.
Second at Gulfstream Park is 6 furlongs, another claiming event. This one's for 3-year-olds, and the claiming price is $50,000 down to $40,000.
7, 5, and 3. Speaking of jockeys who had a winner yesterday, the number 7, 3/4 Roy goes in for a tag this afternoon after breaking the maiden in the 3rd career start. Raced over at Tampa in a stakes race, comes out of that effort, now runs for a tag, draws the outside here going 6 furlongs, scored the victory in the slop at Gulfstream Park, but I think this horse was going in the right direction. I do think that is an offspring of Concerto. The moisture probably certainly helped, but I like the taking on winners here for $50,000 for 3-year-olds. It's not quite the level of 75 where I would have little to no fear about being claimed. For 50, somebody might dip in here. For second, number 5, Sweeping Romance. This is the Bill Kaplan Juan Lieva combination. Very sharp losing effort most recently to be a runner-up in an optional claim starter allowance. This time this afternoon, runs for the tag. This horse has hit the board in 4 of 6 at Gulfstream, including breaking the maiden, sprinting back in September. For third, number 3, You Can Change the Name. They add blinkers this afternoon, an impressive debut winner on the poly track. This will only be 2nd time dirt in the 4th career start with Elvis Trujillo, scheduled to get them out for the first time. 7, 5, 3.
Yeah, I agree with you. $50,000 with this purse structure they have today. It's not that hard to get that money back as long as your horse comes back sound. So we'll see if that horse stays in the same barn. Moving on to race number 3 at Gulfstream Park. 6 furlongs. It is a maiden special weight event for 4-year-olds.
And as I saw this race, there's not much to go on. I mean, you have multiple first-time starters in here, a second-time starter, but 4, 3, 6. And I have talked about him before, and he saved our bacon at Sam Houston to the lighting up the board with a $17 winner. It's the Stallion Street Boss. I mean, a one-run power sprinter in Southern California, but I talked about him on the turf the other day. He has been a very surprisingly good stallion, versatile. We saw his name popping up with the winners at Saratoga this past summer. Number 436 for me, Take to the Streets. A first-time starter coming out of the Jonathan Shepherd barn, not known for having firsters. Julian Leperoux, known for being patient, especially out of the gate. But how about 47 breezing out of the gate? Fourth fastest of 101 on Super Bowl Sunday. For second, number 2, Something Peaceful, another first-time starter coming out of a sharp barn. For third, number 6, excuse me, at 2-1 in the morning line for Todd Pletcher. Hasn't run since the spring, never been off the board in 2 starts. Hopefully this afternoon with Javier Castellano in the saddle, we'll get a clear, fast racetrack for the first time. Very intriguing third this afternoon. Left off the Michael Matz runner, who could be dangerous here on the outside. But 436 when all is said and done for me.
Moving on to race number 4 at Gulfstream Park. 6 furlongs. It is a maiden claiming event. For 3-year-olds, claiming price is $20,000.
716 will be my selections in here, and on the outside, sad to say, we get the number 7 saddlecloth on the outside. Phil Gleave sends out this runner for the second career start. After debuting rather moderately in a state-bred maiden special weight, talked about, boy, they haven't run those in a while, but they don't run very many of the state-bred condition races. Now runs for a tag. They add blinkers. They draw the outside. Let's see if we show a little speed in the debut, if we get a little longer run this afternoon and a marked improvement. For a second, don't know how many Korean-bred horses I've ever selected on the Handicappers Report, but number 1, Soul Bullet. Makes the third career start. Now we're familiar with the bloodlines in here. Debuted for a tag from the number 1 post position. Ran well at 4-1. Came back for a $50,000 tag at better than 30-1. Now gets back on the rail, back for $20,000. And as I mentioned, I think it was about 2 weeks ago, Abdiel Gian riding very, very nicely right now in a deep colony, figuring he has about the number 7 live horse in here. For third, number 6, Soccer Holic. Peter Walder's runner comes out in here for only the first start since a couple days before Thanksgiving. 0 for 7 lifetime at Gulfstream Park, but a couple of nice races of late before fatiguing. Now runs for $20,000, which is the cheapest since this horse was claimed. 716.
That's going to take us to race number 5 at Gulfstream Park. We're going to move to the turf course. Going to go a mile and a 16th. It is an allowance optional claiming event for 3-year-olds.
Now, one of the things I've noticed of late at Gulfstream Park, and of late I mean like the last 3 days, is 2 days, I think, especially I talk about the courses and the rail setups being important. Speed has all of a sudden gotten tactically advantageous at Gulfstream Park. And if you're watching the racing on the turf looks in very rough shape for February 7th. I mean, everywhere. I was watching the race yesterday. It comes, we're just about heading for the stretch. You can see so much of the width of it. There didn't seem to be one clear path. So 7, 8, and 3 for me, picking a horse who doesn't have the early speed, but having liked this horse in the second career start at 4-1, very, very impressive. Shug McGahee runner getting to the turf for the debut. Push button for Joel Rosario, a very impressive turf debut. So I'm expecting big things this afternoon, taking on winners. As I said, I'm picking horses running against the grain of the track, taking on winners for the first time at a shorter price than we just hit this horse breaking the debut, but I was enormously impressed. For second, number 8, Nowhere to Run. Michael Dilger's runner makes the second start versus winners, but first time on the turf after breaking the maiden on the turf, went to the Ocala Breeders' races. That's on the poly track, gets back to the turf for the first time since breaking the maiden, this offspring of Kitten's Joy. For third, number 3, Camden Street, Todd Pletcher's runner. 2 starts in the autumn, very impressive debut. Just sat very professionally, took over when wanted, then tried winners for the first time. And even though we finished 8th, beaten 5 lengths, I talked about it many, many, many times before. All that does is help us with the price the next time out. That was a nice effort versus winners. Days after breaking the maiden, draws a good post position here, gets Castellano for the first time. Also number 4, Sea of Faces. That is a MTO in here. Very nice allowance level. 7, 8, 3, where I think we might have a very, very good one.
I think your top choice, Ironicus, I believe he's a half-brother to Minister's Joy, who I galloped one summer for Showing Me Gay. What a cool horse he was.
Minister's Joy. I don't know that horse.
I believe he was a solid. I don't think he ever won a graded stake, but he was a solid allowance, smaller stake horse. But he was really cool to gallop. But there you have it, Anthony Selections, races 1 through 5 at Gulfstream Park. We're going to take our first break. When we come back, we'll finish out today's Gulfstream Park card. So please stay tuned. You're watching the OTB TV network.
I'm Seth Merrill. Join me weekdays at 10 for Racing Across America. We'll look at important races from around the country, get insight from top handicappers and analysts, and preview the upcoming week in racing. That's Racing Across America, weekdays at 10, right here on the OTB TV network. The Capital OTB Handicapping Challenge Series is back. That's right. The 2014 Capital OTB Handicapping Challenge Series is back, and it's your chance to win thousands in cash and prizes, and a seat at the 2015 Handicapping Championship in Las Vegas. This month's contest is the Shamrock Showdown on March 1st. So sign up today, online at capitalotb.com, or stop in at the Clubhouse Racebook.
I got it. Watch me. I got it. Hey! I got something that makes me want to shout. I got something that tells me what it's all about. I got a move that tells me what to do. If you don't, brothers and sisters, then you won't know what it's all about.
Funding your Capital OTB bet account is as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1. Easy Money. Clearly the fastest and easiest method of depositing funds into your account. Make deposits or withdrawals in just minutes. 2. Green Dot Money Pack. Gives you instant access to your funds. Green Dot Money Packs are available at thousands of retailers nationwide. And 3. MasterCard Visa. Simply click on the link from the funding page, enter your account information, and fund your account. CapitalOTBBet.com. Log on today.
Hey race fans, head down to the all-new Clubhouse Racebook. With live horse racing on more than 250 flat-screen TVs, state-of-the-art wagering terminals, and amazing Vegas-style atmosphere. The Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report. Jeff Carl with Anthony Mormino. Thank you for joining us on this frigid Friday morning. -3 in my car this morning when I jumped in it in Saratoga. Very cold one's going to be that way for a while. But right now we're taking a look at warmer climes down there at Gulfstream Park. Before the break, Anthony gave you his selections, races 1 through 5. Let's move along to race number 6, and we're going to go to the turf course. It is 1 mile. It is a maiden claiming event for 4 and up, claiming price of $40,000 down to $35,000.
I love this race on the card this afternoon. 2, 7, and 6, Golden Rifle, 8-1 on the morning line. Emma Jane Wilson scheduled to ride this offspring at Go Zapper to make the 3rd career start, the turf debut this afternoon. That I am A-OK with that. Debuted going 5.5, then came back running 7. So there, but we draw down inside here, going a mile on the turf boy. In for a tag for the first time at a hefty price in here. Could hit us right between the eyes with this Reed Baker runner. So number 2, Golden Rifle, going out for the house horse, makes my top pick. For second, number 7, Wind Exchange. We've been talking about exchange rate in that group with Straight Man and Warfront, and a bunch of horses who made their bones on the dirt but have a turf-influenced pedigree, especially middle distance turf. I like the 2 most recent efforts off of the long layoff on this middle distance runner. Edgar Prado was aboard the 3rd and 2nd place finish, hopefully rotating back in or recycling back into a good effort this afternoon. For third, number 6, Wine Burglar. Very, very dangerous in here is. I like to say when people ask me what I like in the Derby, you can't like them all. But if Jose Lescano's runner is anywhere near 6-1, running for a tag for the first time, which is what leads me to believe this offspring of Rock Hard 10 will not be near the 6-1. I think this is the horse that is going to get bet. But that being said, as I said the other day at Sam Houston, between the 2 and the 6, I want the one that's the longer price. And I think it's going to be Golden Rifle because I think they're going to go to Wine Burglar. You know, if nothing else, as I have said, the Jose Lezcano, he is just part of that young in their 20s that has just made the riding calling down at Florida, but more importantly for us when they come back to New York, a depth that I haven't seen in a long time. 2-7-6.
Moving along to race number 7 at Gulfstream Park, also on the turf course at 1 1/16. It is a claiming event for 4 and up, and the claiming price is $50,000 down to $40,000.
Now, obviously, I knew what the post position draw was when I made this selection, and so when this next line comes out, if they had drawn differently, I would have liked this race even more, but the horses that I like are 11, 12, and 2. Little uphill climb here, but Big John B gets my top pick. Michael Trambetta's runner was claimed for $25,000, been very, very popular, the claiming barn. How about some of these trainers? Maker, Pletcher, Jason Service, and now Michael Trambetta. Horse loves the turf course at Gulfstream Park. 6 tries, only off the board once, with 2 of them victories, including scoring in an optional 25 non-winners of 1 at 4-1. Now makes the big jump up to open 50. For second, right next door in the starting gate, number 12, Jonathan Shepard's runner adds blinkers today with Joel Rosario back in the saddle. For third, number 2, Madras going out this offspring of Scat Daddy. This horse is making the turf debut at Gulfstream Park. Tried to get a turf race this fall after shipping down from South Florida. Got rained off over at Calder. 11, 12, and 2. We done playing now?
Moving on to race number 8 at Gulfstream Park. Our colleague Seth Merrill is right.
My son was in here the other day. Not a single thing went wrong. I got the host of Racing Across America is in here 10 minutes, and the things are going to start falling off the ceiling.
Well, they didn't even see it because the pages were
I know they didn't say. That doesn't mean it didn't happen.
All of a sudden, the lights went down because Seth was
I
over
thought we were
here
going to
to the
have
side.
some chamber music or something here. I got the first grader, walks in and out during the breaks, doesn't touch anything. I got the grown man in here. You break it up the joint.
You know, Anthony, when I was at broadcasting school, we had a...
Did this happen there too?
We did
Seth had a guest appearance?
We did a thing where they called the Ghost in the Studio, where things could go wrong and you just had to kind of keep going with the flow. So there's our Ghost in the Studio. Let's move along to race number 8 at Gulfstream Park. 1 mile. It is a claiming event for 3-year-olds, and the claiming price is $16,000.
Luckily, I have someplace to go after the show, or payback would be. No, it was. What were you doing over there, Mr. Seth? You want to let?
I'm plugging my tablet.
Oh my goodness.
Little did I know.
3, 5, and 1. Intriguing race here. First off, if Charlie the White, I don't know if this is a USC football fan, Charles White, I had no idea. It doesn't fit with the lineage of the horse, so kind of intriguing in here. But we take blinkers off after breaking the maiden in the summertime at Gulfstream Park. Was laid off, caught slop. That's a complete throwout for me. I like the first 2 starts over the summer. And I've been mentioning it for months that I was not debasing the summer runners at Gulfstream Park. I think they were going to come in and have some good success. We've already found them at big prices, and this young jock is, just showed up on my spreadsheet or on the scene the other day, and I think it's Jose Rodriguez. So let's put him in the bunch. And talking about apprentice, the young kid Van Dyke out in Southern California, already 7 winners in this meet. I think his winners are averaging about $15, $16 at Santa Anita. So Charlie the White, take blinkers off this afternoon. Hopefully going to get a clear, fast racetrack for the first time since breaking the maiden, caught slop first time versus winners for second. Number 5 going out after multiple hit the board efforts. I think it's 5 or 6 in a row since after they broke the maiden, tried entry-level allowance. When you break your maiden for $25,000, I like the enthusiasm to enter into an A other than. They develop the non-winners of 2 lifetime for your runners. So this is the right spot for Edgar Zass. For third, number 1, Centrifugal Force. Wesley Ward's runner most recently broke the maiden in the middle of December. by 4+ lengths at 8-5 with Dylan Davis in the saddle. They take on Winners for the first time this afternoon, 3-5-1.
The 9th at Gulfstream Park is on the turf. It is 1 mile. It is an allowance optional claiming event for fillies and mares 4 and up.
And we were talking at the break about Dylan Davis and losing his bow. Jeff, when you were an apprentice, did you know exactly when it ended? Is it that pivotal a thing? Because I mean, obviously, you know, the numbers show that for business-wise, it is like, would Dylan Davis and his agent be walking around almost exactly knowing what day they're going to lose their bug?
They know what day it is. I don't think they're going to broadcast it out there.
No, but I mean, in other words, it's that pivotal. It's that important
Sure.
to know. They are very focused on really getting a run.
Yeah, and we were thinking it's probably sometime this spring.
That's, you know, as I said, you know, he started getting big barns in December, the spring meet at Keeneland, so it probably is close. 5-8-6. Lily the Pink is a big price in here, and I'm all for it. 4 starts at Gulfstream Park, 3 runner-up positions on the turf, an offspring of Rahi, who was a brilliant son of Blushing Groom. You're thinking a mile on the turf is very, very appropriate. Only 1 start since October. Gets back to Gulfstream Park, where we've had good success. Number 5, Lily the Pink, who seems to be the type of horse that Julian Leperoux should fit very, very nicely. He scored a victory at Keeneland a couple of autumns ago. For second, number 8, Triple Charm, going out for the brilliant Christophe Clement, makes the 2nd start in the United States after a nice welcome to the United States racing on January 15th. For third, number 6, Zero Game. Big price in here. Won the United States debut. And then in the Mrs. Revere, I know it looks awful when you get beat 24 lengths and you don't beat a single horse. But boy, the Mrs. Revere is usually a very nice end-of-the-season turf race. I'm against horses 2nd time United States, so I'm not surprised that it went badly. And I don't think it went as badly as beating 24+ lengths, not beating a horse. That was about the pace that afternoon. It was strong. Trust me, forget the internal fractions. This is November at Churchill Downs. That just had nothing left and just backed up through the field. Alex Solis gets the mount today, 5-8-6.
That's going to take us to the 10th and finale at Gulfstream Park. Staying on the turf course, it's 5 furlongs. It is a starter optional claiming event for 4 and up.
And the rail's at 108 feet here, 5, 6, and 3. Raul Verde gets my top pick. Ships in from Tampa Bay after going over in the sprints. And when you have Ronnie Allen Jr. in the saddle at Tampa and you go over, it indicates to me you were trying viciously, but maybe the trips just didn't work out this afternoon. For second, number 6, didn't take it. This was a 12-5 claim, and perhaps a sharp claim for Trisha Farrow. This horse has been very sharp, turf sprinting. Now it gets Javier Castellano in the saddle. And for third, number 3, Cactus Sun. Jamie Ness claimed this horse for $20,000. Has 2 runner-ups to date, including most recently over at Tampa, 5, 6, and 3 in this afternoon's finale.
There you have it, Anthony's selections for today's 10-race Gulfstream Park card. We need to take another break. When we come back, you'll get my picks for today's Aqueduct card. So please stay tuned. You're watching the OTB TV Network.
This is Steve Beck. Join me Tuesday through Saturday here on OTB TV for At the Races, my Sirius XM daily news magazine of the thoroughbred industry. Handicapping, interviews, analysis, everything you could want. 6 a.m. OTB TV.
Hey race fans, head down to the all-new Clubhouse Racebook and get in the game. With live horse racing on more than 250 flat-screen TVs, state-of-the-art wagering terminals, fantastic food and drinks, an amazing Vegas-style atmosphere with seating for nearly 900 of your closest friends. Conveniently located at 711 Central Avenue, right off Exit 5 of I-90 in Albany, the Clubhouse Racebook is the better choice.
Each morning on the OTB TV network, you get the very best in horse racing programming. Weekdays begin with the Handicappers Report, where professional handicappers share their selections and analysis of the day's racing. Followed by Racing Across America, a daily conversation with racing personalities from around the country. Saturdays include Down the Stretch, where Mark Casano speaks with the biggest names in racing. And Sunday mornings, it's Loose on the Lead, where Steve Bick and I offer news and a unique lineup of weekly guests. all here on the OTB TV network.
Wagering at CapitalOTBBet.com is as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1. CapitalBet TV, the fastest and easiest online wagering experience where you can monitor 5 different tracks simultaneously. 2. CapitalBet Express. Its straightforward program layout and interactive handicapping information lets you build your wager quickly and efficiently. And 3. CapitalBet Pro, designed especially for the professional horse player. CapitalOTBBet.com. Log on today.
Missed one of our TV shows? No worries. Now you can catch all your favorite programs online. Simply log on to CapitalOTB.com and click on the YouTube link at the bottom of the homepage. And look for our new podcast coming soon. CapitalOTB.com. Log on today.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report alongside Jeff Carl. I'm Matthew Mormiro. We're still here. Seth Merrill didn't play with anything in between the break. He'll be back at the top of the hour for Racing Across America. We kid because we love him, but don't think we all weren't worried for a moment there, boy. It went dark and it was dangerous. But Big A this afternoon, they canceled on Monday. Jeff was saying that he got a tweet that they've canceled at Oak Lawn Park today, and I was aware that they were working on the track overnight, no racing on Thursday, and they have had, I have been suspicious that something's been going on just from the fact that these horses barely beat standardbreds, and Seth had Frank Miramati on Racing Across America, and he said at the beginning of the meet they were trying to find the right mixture. Remember, folks, I was saying that the mile average winning time for the mile was 1:43. I mean, that's just
pedestrian.
That's unheard of in thoroughbred racing at Oak Lawn Park's level. And he said they were working on it, and it seemed like they had figured it out. They were getting down about 138, 139, which is good at Oak Lawn because you had the short run into the stretch, etc. So, but they were having some trouble. The woman who covers Oak Lawn Park for the daily racing one was talking about they were working on it for hours overnight, etc. Apparently, it didn't work out. So Oak Lawn Park is canceled. We're hoping New York goes today. Remember, they lost the racing on Monday, and this is the 4-day-a-week racing schedule. So we'll see if what we get today. 3-year-olds, maiden claimers, in for 50, racing a mile 70 in the opener.
As of right now on the NYRA website, they're saying the track is listed as fast, so it looks like a go today. 3, 6, and 4 in the opener. My top 3 choices are all coming out of the same race, and my top choice is number 6, Percy's Ambition, finished behind my other 2. But when I went back, the other 2 being Village Warrior and Bridgeville. But I went back and looked at that race, and I think there's some room for improvement for Percy's Ambition. In fact, when they came to around the far turn, he was sitting right behind Village Warrior and ran by him quite easily around the turn. And then when he turned for home at the top of the stretch, he just kind of lost his focus, and he started kind of drifting around. He shied around a little bit. Then he started to get tired. It was his first start going around 2 turns, only the second of his career for trainer Nick Zito. So I like the fact that he ran by Village Warrior and then just kind of lost his focus, lost his fitness. But I think with that race under his belt, if I'm looking for a way to try to beat the top choice Village Warrior, I think I have a legitimate reason to go with the number 3, Percy's Ambition. So like I said, when he had his wits about him, he ran right by Village Warrior around the turn. So some more fitness and some more focus today. Maybe he can keep going and put the whole race together and get us a nice little payoff on top at 6-1 the morning line. For second, I did go with the number 6, Village Warrior. You know, and he's adding blinkers, and this is his 4th start around 2 turns. This horse trained by Todd Pletcher. He's had 5 races total, and it's very rare that you see a Todd Pletcher horse that hasn't broken their maiden before that. You know, he was dropped down to the $50,000 level in the race I just talked about. And, you know, I mean, blinkers certainly, I don't think they're going to hurt him. But, again, I'm looking for a way to beat him. And like I said, Percy's Ambition ran right by him around the turn. So I put Village Warrior in the 2nd spot, Percy's Ambition on top. And for third, to number 4, Bridgeville, who, again, comes out of that same race. He was third that day, about a length behind Village Warrior, but he didn't have any real excuse. So let's put him in the 3rd spot. 3, 6, and 4 in the Aqueduct opener.
You know, you're talking about Todd Pletcher and horses breaking their maiden, and you mentioned Corvu retiring the other day, and I was focused completely different on the Hopeful Stakes to the tune of 33-41, but no. Corvu was the chalk in the Hopeful.
Was he?
Another reason I knew I was going to like that race.
Yeah.
He was the favorite. I think he beat one horse.
He beat one horse. And like I said, his body language in the paddock wasn't good.
Yeah.
He kept kind of stopping, and he just didn't look happy.
Yeah.
And obviously
as I said,
it showed.
I mean, I mentioned following racetracks, running against the game, you follow trainers. That was a very atypical horse retired. On to the second half of the early daily double. Open company, 4-year-olds and up. Fillies and Mares, claimers in for 12-5. Non-winners are 2 lifetime, racing a mile and the 16th.
Take a little shot here. I'm going to go 3, 2, and 6 here, because this is not an outstanding field whatsoever, even for this level. These are never win 2 life. The number 3, Mommy's Dearest, my goodness, she's 7 years old. She's only won one race in her career. 2 back, she was second for never won 2 life at Finger Lakes, and then they came back. That was at the end of November. She hadn't run until January 17th, where they ran her in a 16,000, never won 2 life at Aqueduct, going a mile. Never got involved that day. And then you look at her work tab, very, very light work tab. She very rarely does she ever get a published work. Whether they're doing more with her, I don't know. And as I said, Anthony, this is such a bad race that why not take a chance that maybe that race on January 17th was a bridge. She did finish second for 7,500, never won 2 life at Finger Lakes. We've seen some of these Finger Lakes horses. And we've seen some that made in 4,500 come back and win at this level. So you never know. Again, I'm trying to find something here with some value that maybe could surprise, because this is not a stellar field by no means. The number 2, my Lucky Lou, is my second choice, even money. Again, it took her 10 starts to break her maiden, which she did on January 2nd at the 12-5 level. So this is her first time facing winners. She's coming out of the best race that anybody's running here, but again, it took her a considerable amount of time to break her maiden, so let's put her in the second spot. I don't know if I can go even money with her. For third, I went with the number 6, Stately Cat, who last year at this level looked okay, broke her maiden for 16,000 by many, many lengths, was claimed that day, ran back, never won 2 life for 20,000, was claimed, was second, but it's gone downhill ever since. Last race was nothing to write home about. So for some reason, Stately Cat can find that last year's form. Let's put her in the picture. 3, 2, and 6 in the Aqueduct second race.
On to the third, 4-year-olds and up. Claimers in for 35,000. Non-winners are 2 lifetime, sprinting 6.
5, 2, and 3 here. The number 5, 10 items or less, I think should benefit from his last outing on January 9th. He'd been off since August, and when he came back in that race on January 9th, he ran a pretty tough $50,000 starter event. Got squeezed at the start, so again, probably didn't have the best of everything, but I think, again, just coming off a long layoff, that race could be served as a bridge to today's event, where he's dropping down to 35,000, never won 2 life, going to be adding blinkers. You get the Rice combo of Linda Rice with her niece Taylor Rice, who's really doing a nice job out there. So blinkers on, maybe the bridge race coming into this race to drop down. Let's put 10 items or less into the top spot in the Aqueduct third. For second, I went to the number 2, Indy C, who tried 50,000 starters on January 27th after being claimed out of a second place finish for this level at 35,000. On December 14th, Pat Quick reached in and grabbed this horse. Tried to stretch him out into $50,000 starter, didn't go well, was laying kind of close to pace and faded. Now back to sprint, back to 35,000. Looks like a much better spot, so let's put Indy C, the number 2, into the second spot. For third, I went with the number 3, Boogie 2, Indy C's second place race on December 14th. Hasn't run since. Displayed a little early foot that day. Maybe the breather kind of helped this horse. Again, it's been almost 2 months since he ran, so maybe just a little bit of a breather, some freshness, puts him in the third spot. 5, 2, and 3 in the Aqueduct third race.
On to race number 4, we have New York State Breds, 4-year-olds and up. Maiden claimers in for 25, also racing 6.
1, 7, and 6 here. It was hard to go past number 1, Handy Stan, who's 3 to 5 on the morning line. 2 starts in his career, 2 thirds. First time out was maiden 35. He only got beat ahead. Then came back in a maiden special weight in January 1st, New Year's Day. Finished third, got beat 2.5 lengths. I mean, he has speed. He's back down. He's all the way down to the $25,000 level. He's got speed from the inside post. It's his race to win as long as he breaks well. Mark Schumann bringing him up from Fair Hill. Put Handy Stan in the top spot. Again, he's going to be a short price, so I tried to find a horse that I could hook up and make a decent exacta I went to the number 7, DJ's Hope, who's never duplicated his debut effort when he finished second last year in January at maiden special weight level. Just kind of regressed ever since then. Last time out, they dropped him down to the $25,000 level where he's running today. Showed a little bit of early foot. Finished fourth that day, which is probably his best race in a very, very long time. They're going to add blinkers today. They're going to put Wilmer Garcia on. Wilmer just lost his bug a little while ago, so he's going to be out there riding as hard as he can to try to keep the wheels turning. And like I said, maybe that last race was a step in the right direction for this horse trained by Rick DeMola. At 15-1, let's put him into the second spot. For third, the number 6, Gotham Rising. Looks like he got a nice educational debut race on New Year's Day for trainer John Morrison, who I know firsthand doesn't really have him cranked up to win first time out. That was maiden special weight. They're going to put blinkers on him today, drop him down to 25,000, a couple nice angles there, and he's 10-1 in the morning line. So with the drop down, with the blinkers, with a race under his belt, maybe he can improve enough to be in the picture. 1, 7, and 6 in the Aqueduct fourth race.
Now, you told me once you worked with John?
Yeah, he was the trainer out at Stonebridge.
How old is he?
Jeepers, I would say he's in his 50s.
Because I think he went to Shaker High School.
Yes, he is a local boy. Yes, he is.
And
I'm not sure if it's Shaker, but I think
I'm pretty sure it is.
I think he's might be a year or two older than we are. Well, I'm 2 years younger than you.
Right.
So I'm guessing he's in his early 50s.
Be interesting.
Oh no, he's a very big man. He's a large man. Nice guy. He's got a good heart.
Yeah, I know he's.
But he is. He's a local product. Yep.
Yeah. Grade 1 winning trainer. On to the fifth.
AC Ducey in the prior S, right?
Yeah, years ago. I don't,
Diane Nelson aboard.
yeah. Not one of the. No, not Diane. I never fancied that race a Grade 1 race. I mean,
Right.
the prior race, etc. So, neither will I the La Triane this year at Churchill Downs when they get underway. On to the fifth race, Open Company, 4-year-olds and up. Fillies and Mares. Claimers in for 25, racing 6.
5, 4, and 1 here. The number 5, the Royal Boot. This is a daughter of Chapel Royale who has a ton of early speed. She's been freshened up since mid-December. She was claimed by David Jacobson a couple starts ago for $35,000. At the beginning of December, brought her back in an optional, claiming $16,000 starter allowance. Showed her usual early foot, but backed up quite a bit. Got beat 13 lengths that day. Thus, you're getting the little bit of a breather since then. Doesn't show a lot on the work tabs, but that's normal for David Jacobson. He backs off his horses. It kind of reminds me a lot when I was stabled at Pimlico, when Scott Lake was starting to make his ascension through the Mid-Atlantic. He brought a string of horses in to Pimlico, and these older horses that he would claim, Anthony, he just backed off them completely. They just jogged around there every day. The theory was, and some people subscribe to it, that a lot of these older horses, once they get fit, they get overtrained, and by backing off them, they make them a little bit fresher. So I'm hoping that little bit of a break that David Jacobson has given the Royal Boot, I think maybe she can revert back to her better form that she displayed this fall at Monmouth Park, which would make her very, very tough at this level. And again, speed's always, always dangerous. So some fresh legs. Maybe the Royal Boot can keep it going today. 5-1, Taylor Rice in the saddle. For second, I went with the number 4, Vinda, who was claimed for $16,000 off a third-place performance by Rudy Rodriguez, and you have to respect Rudy Rodriguez first off the claim. And I think Rudy subscribes a little bit different theory. You'll notice when Rudy claims a horse, and this one's been off since mid-December, he does put some solid works into him. So it's just a different theory about how to handle some of these horses. Rudy does like to work his horses, but he is so good first off the claim. Let's put Vinda into the second spot at 6-1. For third, I went to the number 1, Air to Dare, who's 8-5 in the morning line, dropping down from the 62,000, never won 2 life level. Her best certainly makes her tough. Her last win was for 20,000. She won that race by almost 11 lengths. But again, maybe the drop down's a little bit suspicious. I'm going to take a chance with a couple other horses. 5, 4, and 1 in the Aqueduct 5th race.
We'll take a quick break. When we come back, second half of today's action from the Big A.
I'm Steve Beck.
And I'm Seth Merrill.
Together, we're loose on the lead on Capital OTB, Sundays at 10 a.m. Why should they watch, Seth?
Sit down on Sunday, have a bagel, get some great racing conversation.
Cream cheese only, no jelly. Sundays, 10 a.m., loose on the lead, Capital OTB.
Using CapitalOTBBet.com is as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1. Simply log on with your username and password from the homepage. 2. Fund your Capital OTB account through our Easy Money, Green Dot, or Visa MasterCard options. And 3. Place your bet on one of our 3 easy-to-navigate wagering platforms, Capital Bet TV, Capital Bet Express, or Capital Bet Pro. CapitalOTBBet.com. Log on today.
Here in upstate New York, no one provides bettors with more wagering options than Capital OTB. Our network of branch and easy bet locations stretches from the mid-Hudson Valley all the way to the Canadian border and west to central New York. So whether you need to place a bet, fund your Capital Bets account, or watch the next big race, all the action is just around the corner. A full list of our branch and easy bet locations can be found online at CapitalOTB.com. Capital OTB, the better and most convenient choice for wagering in upstate New York.
The Capital OTB Handicapping Challenge Series is back. That's right, the 2014 Capital OTB Handicapping Challenge Series is back, and it's your chance to win thousands in cash and prizes, and a seat at the 2015 Handicapping Championship in Las Vegas. This month's contest is the Shamrock Showdown on March 1st. So sign up today, online at CapitalOTB.com, or stop in at the Clubhouse Racebook.
I'm Mark Cassano. Join me Saturday mornings at 10 for Down the Stretch. We'll inform, analyze, and welcome in the biggest names in racing. So join me Saturday mornings at 10 for Down the Stretch, right here on the OTB Television Network.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report alongside Jeff Call. I am Anthony Mormino on this Friday morning. We're up to race number 6 at the Big A. It'll be New York State Press, 3-year-old fillies, maiden special weights, dashing 5.5.
1, 9, and 6 here. The number 1, Marketable Miss. A very nice debut second. She finished second to Saratoga Shoes. What was noteworthy that day is both of these are daughters of Noonmark, nice young New York sire. And, Saratoga Shoes was well meant to win that day. She certainly did. Marketable Miss was a good second, got beat 4 3/4 lengths. She did show a little bit of early foot, which she's going to need today, going 5.5 furlongs, breaking from the 1 hole. You know, trained by John Kimmel, who we know doesn't necessarily have him cranked up to win first time out, but she ran a very, very nice race. So as long as she breaks well, I like the 4-1. I don't know if you're going to get it, but maybe people are thinking from that inside post it could be a little dicey. But again, she showed early foot in her career debut. So you'd have to think with that experience under her belt, she'll break a little bit better today. Again, let's put Marketable Miss into the top spot. For second, I went out to the number 9, Nile Empress, who's a very interesting first-time starter by Pioneer of the Nile. As we know, he's turned out to be a very, very solid sire of Cairo Prince, Vince Ramos, who won the Sam Davis. So this is a very potent sire. I don't think you're going to see him standing for 20,000 after this year. And, you know, a nice steady work tab for trainer Chad Brown. Again, with that pedigree, being a New York bred, you got to consider him. Nothing really flashy out of his work tab, but again, solid enough. Breaks from the outside post, which could be a good thing for a first-time starter. As Anthony always says, as long as they don't make a right-hand turn or shy away. Sometimes it's a good thing because they are clear. They're not getting a lot of kickback. So as long as he breaks straight and is able to cast on, get him into a decent position, let's put him in the second spot. For third, I went with another first-time starter to the number 6, Baby B, who's a firster by Big Brown, coming out of Dominic Galuccio barn. Very nice gate work on February 2nd leading into her debut. So a couple first-time starters to keep your eye on. But I think Marketable Miss, with that race under her belt, is going to be tough to beat with a nice clean break. 1, 9, and 6 in the Aqueduct Sixter.
I always thought if I could hand-pick posts for my debut horse, it'd be like 1 in from the outside, because at least the outside horse would probably be my bumper in case I want to make the right-hand turn. Like you said, I could be outside of a lot of the other traffic and the kickback. But, boy, sometimes that outside one, boy.
It doesn't work out all the time. And this is 5.5 furlongs, so if he does veer a little bit, he doesn't have a lot of time to make it up.
Absolutely.
But we'll see what happens today.
On to the 7th race, Open Company, 4-year-olds and up. Claimers in for $20,000. Non-winners at 2, race at a mile.
Oh, it's 7, 5, and 3 here. The number 7, Velvet Cap. I'm looking for him to turn the tables on my second choice, Summer Sands. He stretched out last time to 1 mile and 70 yards, was right there on or near the lead, just couldn't quite hold on. But as I said, it was his first time going 2 turns in a very long time, only the second time in his career. So I think with that race under his belt, and the fact, you know what, he's got 70 less yards to have to contend with, maybe that makes a difference, maybe it doesn't. But I think it's more of just having that two-turn experience under his belt. Makes him a little bit tighter today. Let's put Velvet Cap into the top spot. For third, I have the number 5, Summer Sands. As I said, this horse was second in the same race last time, but at 1 mile and 70 yards, and will be coming from off the pace. I'm just hoping that 70 yards makes a little bit of a difference today. But again, a duplication of that effort puts Summer Sands into the picture. For third, I went to the number 3, Ricochet, which appears to be the phonetic spelling of Ricochet. And 2-1 in the morning line, but I have a little bit of a question mark. I think, obviously, if he can handle the transition from turf to